Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is VlogsBoutNothin. Thank you for joining me. It's Thursday night here in America, and I'm assuming all over the world. However, I say that with a grain of salt because I'm not entirely that good with math, and to my understanding, I'm now thinking that it is quite possibly tomorrow on the other side of the world, if that makes any sense. Or it's yesterday. Who cares? I'm just saying, it's Thursday here where I'm at, and I really appreciate you guys joining me. Obviously, I can't possibly be that stupid, and I do, sort of troll myself constantly because then otherwise, who would? You guys? No, I'm okay with that. The comments are turned off for a reason, but to all my stalkers and trollers out there, hello. It's good that you're still a part of my channel and a part of my life. It's a very inclusive place. In fact, it's a safe place. So it's pretty uncommon to find in the digital age, honestly, because at the risk of, finding some content you might genuinely like, you also might run into, a end of world sort of scenario with the trolling that goes on in most videos. So I wanted to take that distraction away from you so that you could then only be attracted to this, which is probably one of the more terrible things you could be, but I guess you could be doing worse things. You feel me? And I could be saying more weird things than I already do, but regardless, tonight I want to talk about unschooling. So, if you didn't already know, I stream back to back to back to back. I don't do any edits. I have no script. I have no life. I have my phone and I have two lights. I also have a desk, my desk chair, a very supportive roommate, and some unsatiable ambition that, well, hasn't led me to any sort of financial success yet, but I'm convinced one day, oh boy, I'll be like Uncle Scrooge, but from the DuckTales, because I want to be a cool uncle who has cool nephews that float around in my gold money where I have a building and it's all just a joke and I'm just playing. So let's talk about unschooling. If I could be any duck in the world, I'd be Darkwing Duck. Okay, so I recently had posed this question, quick sidebar to my roommate. I was like, who do you like more, Donald Duck or Daffy Duck? I'm so interested in what other people think about ducks and anthropomorphic characters. I mean, I think I'm weird too, but I didn't. I didn't. And Darkwing Duck is probably the best duck, followed by Howard the Duck, and then Donald and Daffy. I tell you, they're both kind of like the coolest ducks. I mean, it's. I just they're cool ducks. Anyways, let's continue, or let's start to talk about unschooling. Um, if you're new to the channel, I always say this, I'm sorry to you, but this is what we do. And if you're one of the few people who have to constantly listen to the same sort of jokes that I have to lay into the already kind of boring improvisational talk, then I'm also sorry to you. So I guess I'm sorry for being sorry, and I'm sorry. Just, forgive me. Anyways, unschooling is a joke, right? I mean, it's kind of why it's been this long of a sidebar to get into the subject matter. Because what subject matter is there when talking about unschooling? I mean, millennials, every single time I feel like we're about to do something that is better and or just less weird than Xers and the boomers. I always think to myself, like, that's the case. We're gonna be better. We're gonna do this different. And then, I come to see parents plastered all over different social media complaining about the standard of education that's in their local public school system. And so, you know, I guess, what do millennials do when times get hard? We run far away. I say this with such dark cringe humor, Avi, because I'm a millennial and I've in fact acted and or reacted in this very way to very meaningful things in my life. It's something that we do. I don't know. We were raised by Xers and boomers. Alpha. Zers, have you seen your grandparents? These are the people that taught us who to be the way we are today. Regardless, unschooling is the concept that, parents get upset with the school system, and so they take their children out of school and they decide to become teachers overnight. Listen, I think it would be unfair to say that parents aren't full time parents as well as they are teachers, in a way, right? I mean, the biggest teachers of all, in that you literally kind of learn a lot from your parents, whether you like it or not, and sometimes you learn even when you don't like it, is what I'm saying. So you learn from your parents regardless, whether that's what to do or what not to do. You still learn. And so that's without question something that where credit is due should be given, and parents in that regard are responsible for so much as it concerns the uprising of their child and their, learning part of that. But to replace, or to think that kind of education can simultaneously occur while at the same time, you kind of lack in the organizational and like public principle part of the interaction as it concerns the sociability of your child. I think it then becomes a problem for everybody, in that why do we want to unschool our children instead of making our school systems better? Why can't we pay our teachers more? They are, in fact, babysitting temporary parents responsible also for teaching little people. So, parents, teachers, they have very important jobs, each in and of itself respectful to their specific category, in that it's obviously the biggest of all priorities, and it should be, as it concerns the welfare of the children and stuff. And I say this because, like, again, why do millennials, just going back to that dark cringe joke, you feel me, run away from problems instead of addressing them? So it's really, in my opinion, and I understand, let me preface that my opinion is few and far between. I understand that a lot of people in this country have had really bad experiences with public education. And this seems to be a generational opinion. I had the fortune and privilege of attending some really, really awesome public schools. I had really awesome teachers. I never had any issues. It was really nice for me. But I understand that situation again is a small percentage of what actually, most often happens within the public school system. And then I know this moreover as being an adult and young teenager in helping impoverished communities at centers of public schools for hubs, and in teaching children higher proficiency in literacy rates so that they could pass not only standardized testing but comprehend what they were reading. And so I just feel like unschooling is a lot of damage to children, unfortunately, in the long run, because of our failure as a generation to really address the failures of our public school system, in that it should be common sense. School is free, but it's not, right? Because we as taxpayers pay for certain services, one of them being public schools. And why should we have any problem with kicking a few nickels and dimes out of the money that already belongs to Uncle Sam towards our children's betterment? I feel like that's a pretty solid investment. And I feel like we should be fixing public schools instead of creating charter schools, because, charter schools are all owned by Bill Gates. It used to be Bill and Melinda. They got a divorce. Sorry, sir. But anyways, you know, that was a big sell of the program, by the way, was that you were had a wife and that you guys were gonna, anyways. Thankful to the Bill Gates Foundation, or the Gates Foundation. I'm not sure what it's called. Please don't sue me, anybody. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is an impromptu talk. Look at me, I'm silly. Anyways, I just know that unschooling is not the best of ideas, and that charter schools aren't, private schools aren't. I mean, why are we so willing to spend money on anything other than what we should be spending money on? I mean, you'd think out of all of those things, private school, charter school, public school, like there'd be no divide in that we send our children to private school because we don't want them interacting with the norms. And then we utilize charter schools because we're unhappy with public schools. I mean, private school parents, you can save a boatload of money if you take that same amount of money, sometimes in excess of six figures per calendar year for each student, and you could, think about that. Invest in your community. You could let other children have the opportunity to be taught by other adults who aren't paid below the poverty line and can actually make a difference in that they take your children off of your hands for a better part of 1/3 of the day while you're able to do what you gotta do, and all the while your child is safe. And not just safe, but incentivized to be taken care of, because the adults are getting paid what they need to be paid, and they're incentivized to perform the job that we so unthankfully ask them to do every single year. So I understand it's difficult, millennials. The world is a complicated place. I get it. I get it. We live in a world where Joe Rogan and Dana White, basically dominate every aspect of all of our entertainment parts of life, regardless of generation or platform. That's the infiltration of the boom. It goes deep. The rabbit hole goes deep. But anyways, for all of us norms, you know what I mean, who aren't Xers or booms and have billions of dollars and millions of followers and just, all of the rest of the Xers and boomers on our back, we got to make do with what we have. And not making do with what we don't have is something we don't want to do. And unschooling is a good example of doing something we don't need to do because we're choosing to do something that we'd rather do instead of something that we should do. And what we should do is support public education. What we should do is encourage our neighborhood children to meet other children within their community, all while in a safe atmosphere getting taught. I mean, again, how much more idealistic could that situation possibly be? And yet, we do everything as a major majority public power to pull away from that very basic concept of providing our children with the very best kind of experience they should have from ages 6 to 18 as it concerns their secondary education. So I hope that you guys have a really good night. Thanks for watching me here on Vlogs About Nothing. Again, I know I'm just some dude, barely can dress myself, definitely has no idea what is going on with my hair. But let me tell you, I'm a consistent guy. For about 4 or 5 months now, we've put up 4 videos every single night. I hope that you guys continue to follow me on my journey. I promise it'll get more interesting. I can't be doing nothing this long. Even I can't do that. So I'm working on getting a job. I'm working on finishing my book. I'm working on so many other things. Like, truly, that I, sometimes spread myself too thin. But this time, I'm doing it right. I think I'm doing it right. I wish I could do it faster. I think we all wish that Rome was built overnight. I mean, I guess I'm a Roman Catholic, so it's a super dark joke. Anyways, it didn't happen overnight. It, in fact, took 2024 years. Anyways, I hope that you guys have a really good night. Thank you so much for watching my channel, and until tomorrow, be safe and enjoy doing nothing if you're just getting home from work and chilling. Bye.